I can't afford it, or how can I afford it? Which one is progressive? Why are your friends outside? They are saying they cannot afford the 10 Ghana cedis. So one important feature of entrepreneurs or people who've made it in the business circle is their ability to spot opportunities in situations where people see problems. Entrepreneurs are quick to identify and seize opportunities. They convert difficulties to opportunities. Another aspect is also risk taking. Are you somebody who is afraid of risk? That after producing, you will not be able to get people to buy it. Why do you put the negative first? Why don't you manage it? So if you are somebody who is not able to take risks, I'm not talking about any risk, but risk that will help you, calculated risk that will help you to move to the next level. Entrepreneurs do not give up easily. So if you want to go into agric or any other venture, you don't have to give up easily. Once they are convinced and persuaded about a goal, either in their personal life or in their business, they do not allow difficulties, problems to discourage them at all. They act in the face of obstacles and surmount all difficulties, including lack of money, opposition from friends and family, to achieve personal and business goals. You have to sacrifice. You don't have to look at what the others are doing. How many of us will be willing to take a boyfriend farmer, a boyfriend who is a farmer? How many of us?
I'll tell you something, I'll tell you a story. Many years ago, time, as we all know, was being told by men who had great ability and skill in the art of time telling. These men could stand under the sky, observe the position of the sun, and observe the position of the sky, and be able to tell what time exactly it was. These men were rare. These men were gifted. These men were the creme de la creme of their time. Whole communities, towns, villages, and cities depended on this few talent to be able to tell what time it was. And because time is extremely important in everything we do, these men were deemed as oracles of their time. This procedure of time telling went on until the early 1200s, when one man sat back and observed the whole procedure and realized, envisioned, and said, if we allow this to go on forever, if we lose the time tellers, then we will lose the art and skill of time telling. So it will be better to put together a system, a machinery, a device that could tell time even when the time tellers were not around. And that was when the first clock was invented. This led to a major intervention in time telling. And up to date, you could sit here and just lift up your wrist and know what time it is without necessarily having to have the skill and art of telling time. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you something I have entitled The Time Tellers versus the Clock Builders. I believe, and it is true, that each and every one of us has a special ability, has a special talent, has a special gift in them, given to them by God Himself. These special abilities, talents, and gifts are God's solutions to the problems of this world. The problems are part of the world in which we live in. Scarcity of food is a problem that is part of the world that we live in. Poverty is a problem that is part of the world we live in. But our gifts, special abilities, our grace, the things that God has given us, the things that separate us from other people, the things that make us know that we are unique, are God's own solution to these problems. That is why the identification of your potential is the most important thing in life. The maximization is also important. The school is like the sharpener. We come in to be sharpened. We coming in with our various potentials already. It's a facility to help us identify and maximize what we already have. If we come in with a mindset that we are now coming to acquire it, we miss it right from the onset. Our potential and success in life would only be complete when we consider posterity in mind. What am I talking about? Until our dreams, until the things that drive us, until our potential, until our talent, until our visions outlive us, it's not necessary even having them at all. I believe that the problems of Africa are as a result of the lack of the clock building mentality. Because in a meeting like this, we will need one being walked down the aisle to tell us what time specifically it was before the program could proceed. But one man with a clock building mentality realized that it has never been about personalities, but it has been about potential. Decided to build a device that could capture potentials of people and replicate it over time. That's the kind of mindset that Africa and the next generation needs. It's not just about your ability to do something. It is not enough to just pioneer moves and do things. What we must think about is the posterity that comes with it. We must be concerned equally as we are concerned about great ideas, about the sustainability of these ideas. Yesterday, while I was trying to do a research, I struggled to find companies in Africa, movements in Africa that have been able to live for over 100 years. But in Japan alone, we have companies that have been able to live for 1,000 years. How were they able to put these things together? It's a time-telling mentality and a clock-building mentality. Today, if I ask you, who was the one that came up with the formula for Coke? Many would not know, but Coca-Cola has been rated the best brand in the whole world. And yet, we don't even know who brought up the whole idea. Dr. Smith Pemberton, in 1886, concocted this formula. He had a clock building mentality. He did not just say that this is a mere drink. It is for my family and my neighborhood. While he was putting the formula together, as small as it was, he saw Ghana. As small as it was, he saw Gambia. As small as it was, he saw Zambia. As small as it was, he saw Italy. He saw France. He saw Norway. He saw the UK. And therefore, that was the drive with which he placed strategies and systems together. Today, it is all over the world. The man is not in existence. 126 years down the line, it is just a drink. But the impact it has made on this earth cannot be ignored. This is a clock building mentality.
A young man doesn't need adjectives to be acknowledged. He doesn't need me to say sweet words about him for you to know that he's done well. The mere fact that you are sitting in this auditorium alone proves a point. And it's expedient that each and every one of us gives a standing ovation and a round of applause as we welcome Mr. David Isiama Asare, the CEO of Agro Mindset. Mr. David.
This is a big one. All right. Can we have a seat? Thank you very much. All right. I would say that we are between grace and mercy.